We're not stuck waiting for Sunday. You're stuck with me. Listen, I hate doing video intros like this, but I do think it's necessary since this is an N-Stars and Star Rail is much more popular in comparison. So here is a little FAQ. Do I believe Sunday will release in any of these paths? Yes and no. I wanted to include them all because that way I can be wrong. Will I be including any leaks? No, this is a leak-free video, and I don't want to get hunted by MiHoYo first port, you know. Will there be any spoilers? Yes, up to version 2.3. Go play the quest, go see my chicken wing boy. Hi, this is post-production me here. This video was recorded after 2.3 released. You know, remember 2.3? The Sunday cutscene, before any Xianzholofu stuff, before any allusions to Tinian coming back, before Sunday was heavily implied to be joining the Astro Express. Remember a time like that? Yeah, so I am posting this anyway because I'm trying to be nice to myself. But yeah, don't make too much fun of me, okay? I thought Sunday in a black suit would have looked nice, okay? I wanted him to wear a black suit and like white shirt and the most basic ass outfit in the world because I'm so tired of Angel characters having to wear white. But it's fine because now he's at least going to be happy, right? Anyway, I'm gonna leave you all to enjoy the video now. So with that out of the way, let's start.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
Okay. Double there. Yeah. Good. My babies look. Yeah. Okay. Sunday's philosophy is so diverse from destruction that you can't even write fanfic about it. His arc does involve self-sacrifice, which then turns into self-destruction at the end of the Penacony storyline, but when you look at other destruction characters, you'll see that actually their actions are more focused on the act of destruction itself. Firefly wants to choose her own path, therefore destroying the notion that has already been set of her of a weapon for Glamoth. Meanwhile, Blade is seeking revenge, and in a way you can say that his life has already been destroyed by the abundance. In this sense, Sunday does not share with other characters this idea of destroying other things, rather that be his own life, other people's lives, some notion of destiny. He just doesn't do that, which is why he doesn't fit in the destruction path as well as other characters do. And that would also be why I would not put him in the destruction path. So to sum it up, to be nice, I would say that a path like destruction, which is just about dealing damage, just doesn't hold much potential for Sunday's character. It doesn't make sense for a character so busy, so worried about the order of things, to suddenly go, fuck it, I'm gonna kill everything.
Yeah, いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
Denim, parenthesis, I will be moving around in this video. Like, that is just not possible for me to sit still. Maybe I'm a hunt character. Who knows? The hunt is another one of those paths that I really don't know what to think because it focuses on single target damage as opposed to erudition and destruction, but it doesn't really distinct on how to deal that single target damage. Dr. Ratio and Topaz are follow-up attack characters, but and Zila, who are more focused on break damage and turn gimmick respectively, because I like to put fun words in my script for me to stumble upon later. Lore-wise, the hunt is a path about pursuit, about the hunt. So you could say that Sunday is pursuing his own idea of a paradise, but you could say that of other characters. So it's kind of a weak argument, and it is, as far as I can really stretch it, for the character who could not be wettest. That did not come out right. For the most pathetic, wettest cat ever. Like, look at him. Like, you either, like, if with a self-sacrificing character like that, you either get a path that's lore relevant where he's like, oh, I wanna die, like Blade, or you get something that has nothing to do with them, like, I don't know, Jade being an Erudition character but being a part of the IPC. Maybe her character story is going to have more to do with that. Her banner releases tomorrow, so you know.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
It is time. The Erudition and Nihility are my favorite paths, so we are going on a journey. The Erudition is mostly associated with new, Ian of Erudition, and the Genius Society and the Intelligentsia Guild. Sorry for butchering Italian, probably. But the list of Path Striders itself is pretty varied. We have Urgenti, who is a Knight of Beauty. We have people in the IPC. We have Chinchue for some reason. So lore-wise, it's kind of difficult to tell what the Erudition, the path, would look for in its path striders. But the thing is, this time we have evidence. There's a light cone. There's a light cone coming out with Jade's banner. It's that one picture of Sunday that you've been seeing everywhere. I mean, have you fucking seen this?
May all wishes come true. The end is also the beginning.
Of course, you could say that because it's releasing in Jade's weapon banner, it's like a sort of a fallback in case you don't get her signature like cone. And I hear you, but I don't care. I like Sunday. I like Erudition. I want him to be in the path of Erudition because I like Erudition characters. My first DPS was Chinchue, my second DPS was Argenti, and my third DPS was Acheron, but we don't talk about that. Not now, anyway. If we were to try to explain why certain characters are following the path of Erudition despite their paths in game diverging, you could say it's about seeking knowledge, so it's a little similar to the pursuit, the hunt. So you could say Argenti is seeking Idrigo the Beauty. He wants information on her. Herda's whole deal is seeking knowledge, and again, she follows Erudition. She's an emanator of the Erudition. From there, we could speculate that Sunday will be looking for knowledge about something that we don't know yet. It could be himself as part of his character arc. It could be something related to his idea of paradise. We'll see.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
Harmony intro. Do you see how I am excited about this one? This is the path that's mostly speculated and hinted at for Sunday. If you've seen the Reddits, if you've seen Twitter, yes, we have our fellow Erudition believers. Thank you, Twitter, for once. And I'll say, gameplay-wise, I do want him to be a support. It would be better than having to build another team for a DPS character or having to fit him into one of the dual carry teams when he doesn't have a particular niche established yet. So it would be better for Sunday to be a support like Locha so he can fit into all of my teams. One half of the Memory Chaos teams can have Sunday, the other half can have Locha or Huohuo or Natasha or whoever you have. Jiaochu. If he wasn't going, very likely to be part of the Stellaron Hunters, I would say, oh, maybe his in-game path will differ from his lore path, like it does for Kafka, like it does for Silverwolf. But his path is already set as the finality. Again, play the 2.3 story quest. The Stellar Hunters are a faction of finality because Elio is a follower of the finality. His faction in-game is already set, which means he couldn't be a Harmony character while also being part of the Stellar Hunters, unless there was some sort of weird arrangement going on there. I also, once again, may have evidence. So Robin has 3 voice lines about her brother, and they don't matter. Just the About Sunday 2, which is the third one, I know, which She says,
My brother has always been my protector, and I've never contemplated stepping out of his shadow. Yet even though we may take different paths, I am still his little sister.
even though we may take different paths. I know I just talked about him being in the path of finality, aka being with the Stellar Hunters, but let me dream. I don't want for his in-game path to be harmony. That would be the boring option. It would be boring.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
Moving on, path I like, number 2. So we've seen that the Stellar Hunters have a soft spot for destruction and nihility, given, their members being exactly 2 and 2 of each path. And given that Sunday is very likely to not be destruction, because like I said, it would not make sense for his character and his arc and his writing and the narrative. Let's talk about the doomed by the narrative character trope. I'm kidding. But that is kind of what he is at the end of 2.3 quest. If we look at the very end of the 2.3 story quest, we see a cutscene with Jade releasing Sunday from his literal shackles and just investing on him, which is pretty much, hey, go join the Stellar Hunters, become a criminal, baby girl. That's me talking. So in the cutscene, you can see that Sunday is pretty apathetic. He says that he wasn't expecting someone to come. He was waiting for his death. And that did make me think, wouldn't it be pretty interesting if instead of going the determined boy who does everything wrong despite having good intentions route, which was 2.2, what if he just had depression? What if he said nothing else matters now and became a follower of Nihility? It would be cool. I like Nihility characters. They are sort of supports. They can fit into a team, and I like them. Besides, Nihility kind of aligns with finality. We do have characters who are like nothing matters because I already know my fate, especially because that kind of thought process kind of aligns with the finality. If you already know what's going to happen, if your fate is predetermined, nothing else matters kind of way. And I do want to open a parenthesis here for a second and talk about Acheron's abilities and why she can break toughness without caring for elemental damage at all. That's because she embodies her path as the sole emanator of Nihility. Once you get so deep into Nihility that your senses and memories start to fade, nothing else matters. And not in a depressive sense. It's more like, nihilism can go 2 ways. It can go into depression and also the good, nothing else matters. Let's do whatever we want. And that's what Acheron does. She breaks toughness no matter what type of damage she can do. No matter if it's lightning or if the enemy doesn't have weakness. You can sort of see that in the other Nihility characters as well, like Silverwolf. She can use her technique to break the toughness of an enemy a little bit at the beginning of battle, regardless of her element, much like Acheron does. The very idea of debuffing enemies is sort of in line with this whole nothing else matters perspective too, because like an enemy does not have that weakness. You just gave it to them. You're giving them something else to despair over, sort of. Anyway, I just really like the Nihility as a concept for like a power source. It's really cool. I could make a video about this.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
You know what? The hat's cute, but it's gotta go. God! I wasn't moving my head because of that. Jesus. One of my favorite parts of Sunday's backstory as a character is his relationship with Robin. She often complains about him not sharing his burdens with her and being quite protective of her even to this day, and not seeing her as having grown up and always being something that he has to protect. You can even see this in the way that they're portrayed in splash art and other Penacony art. Robin is often portrayed inside a cage, and if you look at the metaphor of the Charmony Dove used throughout the 2.2 storyline, you will see that while this was used to show the twins' different points of view, Robin is not exempt from this metaphor in Sunday's eyes. He wants to protect her, and he wants her in the dream as well. He would be this sole star in the night sky. She's not there with him. And in voicelines, when speaking about Sunday, Robin actually refers to him as her protector. She says,
My brother has always been my protector.
right before the whole Anna's dream ordeal, we see Gopherwood saying that Robin was originally supposed to take the place as the sole star in the sky that would stay awake while everyone else was in Anna's dream. This is when Sunday says he'll take her place. So here's my minor theory. I think a lot of people have already speculated that Sunday was always meant to take Robin's place. And what I mean by that is that Gopherwood always knew that he would take her place because that's how he is. He's protective. He prefers to take the hits instead of the others. In his philosophy, he sees himself as one of the strong ones who has to protect the weak. And in Anna's dream, he would be protecting this idea of happiness forever. This is why Anna and Klipoth could come to an agreement. The ideals behind their paths are actually pretty similar. So yes, I would like to see Sunday as a new sustain. Maybe by the time he comes out, there's been a little bit of a cooldown period between him and Aventurine. I'm hoping he's not going to take as long as Baiju did.
やあ、いいねの天璋院 H だよ。
Abundance time! Now, abundance is generally a tricky path. You can have just generally people who are doctors, and then you can have lore-relevant pieces of shit like Locha. It's a mixed bag too, because the abundance is a dangerous path. The abundance is, as the name states, too much of stuff. At this point, I'm pretty sure we know Yaoshi's blessing to the lawful was the reason everything went to shit. It was quite literally the opposite of a blessing in disguise. It's the Ian of abundance. It's not the Ian of giving you exactly what you want. It's going to give you too much of what you want. And the thing is, if instead of the Xianzhou, we had Penacony be the place where abundance takes the stage, I do think it would fit in the same place as the Order does in Penacony's actual storyline. As you can tell by my mention of Locha and Baiju, I am a little bit of a sucker for healer characters. But I do think that if you were going to put Sunday in the abundance, you might as well just have had him stay in Penacony and be in the path of order. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's kind of counterintuitive. You have this character go through this whole arc, learn that people still have the right to choose for themselves whether they want infinite happiness or not, and then you put him in the path of abundance, which it would be like too much happiness. I think if Mihoyo's clues as to Sunday joining the Stellar Hunters are to be interpreted as we've interpreted them, I would say that Sunday is going to have a pretty blunt character shift, and having him be in the path of abundance would be a rather counterintuitive, inconsistent writing move. Then again, it could just not be that deep. Dr. Ratio is part of the Intelligentsia Guild, which follows the Erudition, but he's a hunt character. And if this video does end up aging like milk, I will not care. I like healer characters. I like Sunday. I will like Sunday no matter which path he's in. So if he wants to give someone too much happiness, let it be me. Some final notes. It would be really cool to see Sunday following the Remembrance. But like, Black Swan already does that, and she follows Nihility, and if we think about the fact that Sunday is already pretty much going to join the Stellar Hunters and follow the finality, you know there's no way he would be Remembrance. Another one that would be really cool to see him follow is actually the Equilibrium, because it's like, what if I was the exactly same path that you like, but, you know, I didn't have a guy manipulate you your whole life? Another interesting thing to mention, though, is the Evening Tavern Stories, the Hallovian Special Edition, which, if you don't know, it's one of the readables you can find in Penacony. It has several questions about Hallovians and their halos, and a lot of people answer, from Foxians to actual Hallovians being offended, to someone who refers to themselves as a Halo researcher. They mention it's actually believed that Hallovians are born with a basic circle on their heads, rather than, you know, actually having a shape. It ends up forming later with different shapes depending on the person's experiences and personality. This definitely explains why Sunday and Robin's halos differ so much in appearance despite them being pretty similar otherwise, and it also explains why the hell Sunday has so many eye motifs all along his clothes and especially his halo. And in the whole halo researcher thing, it's also mentioned that halos are not actually physical things. They are only physical in the dreamscape, which makes sense, but outside of that, they're just energy, like highly concentrated energy that can't be touched. And in the dreamscape, they can actually just be adjusted like hats, which does explain why we can sometimes see Robin in art not having her halo or wearing different clothes that block her halo from her head. One last thing this readable mentions is that Halovians have telepathic abilities and that they can become quite strong depending on the Pathstrider. It does make me wonder if this is a thing that we're going to see on Sunday's kit as him being capable of, or if it had to do with his order powers, which means we won't see it at all. So maybe this will be one of the things that he sheds, and I do admit I would be pretty disappointed because the whole telepathy angel thing is pretty cool. So okay, that's all I had for today. Honestly, I just hope he doesn't take too long to come out. I cannot spend another 2 to 3 years saving for a character that turns out to dodge. How many did he dodge again? Like 3 50/50s. I had 360 pulls saved for that motherfucker. Pray for my luck and pray for my sanity because I don't think Sunday is gonna be doing any more praying after this. I mean, he's not gonna be a priest anymore, is he? But Black Sunday? Black Sunday? Black Sunday? It's not the first time I make that mistake. I promise no leaks, Leo.